What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Newage Scaramanga, their version of a Legends Soundwave. So I haven't looked at a lot of Legends on this channel. This is my first Newage for sure. I've looked at a few Legends in the past, but this is really the first Newage product I've looked at. Let's take a quick 360. Well, obviously we'll put the G1 cartoon over there. Really nice detail and paint on this guy for such a small figure. It's got that metallic blue shiny paint, and the rest is that gray or silver with the red accents here and there, and then you got the metallic red eyes. That looks really nice. And then the yellow paint for the chest and the knees. All in all, looks really nice. There is some die cast on this guy, so down here in the leg area, their feet are definitely die cast. Let's see. I think that might be it. Maybe some of the inner hardware, but mostly just the feet are die cast. So that's nice because it gives them a little bit of weight and it helps them to pose. And we'll talk about his articulation in a minute, but he's nice and hefty on the bottom there. He does come with a ton of accessories. Let's talk about those accessories. So obviously you get the 3 tapes. So you've got Laserbeak, Ravage, and depending on who you call them, Rumble or Frenzy. And we'll look at each of those individually. You also get a kind of a box, and this is supposed to go in the chest. It's supposed to light up. There's a button right here, and unfortunately this one doesn't work. I did put batteries in it and it had trouble lighting. You can't open up his chest here. There's a little groove to get your finger in, and your intent is to put this in, light it, turn it on, and then close this, and then his chest lights up really neatly. But unfortunately the batteries don't work in there. I'm not sure what the issue is. I bought brand new batteries to try it and it didn't work, so I'm not sure what the issue is with this. But that's kind of cool. You also get a ton of little accessories. What would Soundwave be without his shoulder cannon? So there is his shoulder cannon. It's painted very nicely. It's got the silver, the red around here, and then it's got the metallic blue all throughout, and that looks really nice. It comes with a second one, and it does have this piece loose, so when it comes in the box, you basically get this gun piece that's loose in the box, and you just plug it in. It is painted, which is interesting. Everything on this is painted, and I mean everything. Literally everything is painted. There you go. Here's him with his gun. I do find this arm is a little bit loose, but if you use the second joint, it works a little better because then you can get it straight if you need to. Continuing on, you do get this piece, which I believe was in one episode. He had the thing that showed up on his arm. It was kind of like a sound blast or whatever. So he gets that. That looks kind of neat. Let's take a look at these hands that you get. So basically it's on a ball joint. You take these and you just pop them off that ball joint. The pointy ones are a little bit harder because you got to be careful not to break the fingers. But once you get that in there, he can get this rotated in such a way that he can press his own button. So there you go. That's a nice little inclusion. You can also, let's take this gun out of here, and you can also use this pointer finger like this. And again, just be cautious because it's a very thin finger. I don't feel like it's going to break, but there you go. He can be pointing for Laserbeak or Ravage to go get those Autobots. So you can do that. You can also use the jazz hand, which is not my favorite, but there you go. You can have this kind of thing. Now, that's a nice inclusion, all those accessories. Let's take a look at his articulation, and then we'll move on to these tapes here. So his head is on a ball joint. It's also on this panel here, so you can get it up, all the way up to there on that ball joint. You really don't need any other movement down to there. Really amazing articulation, and you can get the side-to-side movement on there. So pretty much everything you would ever want for a tiny little figure like this. Arms rotate all the way around. They're on a ball joint, so they go up to there. You have a rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow, gets you the full bend that way. You have a rotation at the wrist, and the wrist goes up and down for transformation, but also you get that movement there. There is a waist swivel that swivels all the way around. It's nice and tight. You also get an ab crunch all the way up to there. Really nicely done. You get a hip skirt here that moves out of the way. Again, nice and tight. The legs flip up to there, back to there, and out to the side. Your rotation at the thigh. Single jointed knee gets you 90 degrees. And you get an ankle tilt all the way up to there. No ankle pivot, but plenty of movement on that tilt. So quite a good range of movement on a little guy like this. All right, now let's take a look at the tapes. So the first one we're going to take a look at is Frenzy or Rumble, whatever you want to call him. To me, he's Frenzy, but there you go. He's got some nice detail there. It does kind of look like a tape. It's a little blocky, but you can open up his cassette tape here, and you can stick this in. There you go. You can close up his chest. I'm a little afraid to get this all the way in there, but you can get that in there, close up his chest. I just don't want to get it stuck. And let's transform Frenzy or Rumble. Go ahead and take his leg, fold that down, and fold that down. You're going to unpeg the arms from the legs. There's just a tiny little peg there. Fold the arms up. You take the legs and fold those down. Same on this side, fold that down. The feet are going to fold out from the front of the shin. Come to the back here, fold his head up, rotate around so it comes to the front. Take these and you're going to open these up. His little back missiles. And then this is going to slide on the slider upwards. And there you go. There is Frenzy all transformed up. He looks really cool. It's very interesting that they're able to make something this small, but yet it looks really nice. He can stand next to Soundwave there. Of course, he wouldn't be Frenzy without his pile drivers. So to set up these pile drivers, you're basically going to go get his arms into the side position. There's this tab slot on the side of the arm that's going to fit into that tab you see right there. So go ahead and push that in. There you go. He can be pile driving on the ground. Just getting closer so you can see that. There is Frenzy doing his thing. I do find these two are a little bit irritating because they do tend to fall out. But once you get it set up, you can just leave it there and he can be pile driving into the... All right, next we'll take a look at Laserbeak. So we'll just move him to the side. Laserbeak, again, very simple transformation. He does fit in the chest like the others. I'm not going to keep demonstrating that. Obviously they fit. But here he is. Looks somewhat like a tape. It's a little blocky, but overall looks pretty good. You can go ahead and fold the head out like this. Take these wings and unfold them. Fold the wings forward. And that's going to come around and to the bottom. You can see there's a little peg there that's going to fit into his front chest there. And then get the head positioned up. And you can angle the wings downward. Really amazing how much articulation they have on these guys. So the wings do move up and down on this joint here. The head, the neck goes up and down, and the head also goes up and down. And you can turn the head because it's on a ball joint. And what's really cool about this is he's got magnets on his feet. So you can take those magnets and, of course, he can sit on the edge of Soundwave's arm, like so. And that looks really cool. I love that look. It's really nice that they thought that through. And he can be looking at Soundwave, getting ready to do his bidding. And that's really nice. And the last tape you have is Ravage. So he's probably the least tape looking. He does fold up, he does fit in the chest, but he's probably the most odd looking. Go ahead and take these legs and fold them down. And you can see there's a little tiny rocket on the top. Same on this side. Take the leg, fold it down. Again, these are very, very tiny. Get the front leg down. You can take the head and fold that out. Actually, fold out the tail first. Little tiny tail. And then go ahead and fold out the head after that. And there is Ravage. He is teeny tiny. He does have red eyes with the gray and the paint on, a little bit of paint on him on the arms. Overall looks really cool. He can pose next to Soundwave. And he looks good. Alright, now let's get Scaramanga transformed into his tape deck mode. Go ahead and take this off from his shoulder. And if you haven't already, take the gun out of his hand. And we're going to set those aside. We're going to use those a little bit later. The first thing I like to do is put his arms up out of the way and get down to the bottom here. Open up this panel here on the crotch. It helps if you open up the front hip skirt and then you can pull right here. And that's going to release this piece here. Put the legs back down. Going to open up this panel here, and that's going to be the front of his tape deck. You do have to swap these, so you're basically going to rotate at the waist. Don't rotate the legs, just the waist piece, so that those two swap places. Then you can close this back up, and you can close this back up. Okay. Now you can come to the back here. Go ahead and open this up, fold his head down. Go ahead and take the arms, and they're going to collapse down. You can see there's a little slider, and it should click into place all the way down. Again, you do want to be careful with this part. They're pretty small, so you should feel that snap in, that little click. Right, unpeg it from the sides of the arms here, and get that folded in. Again, on this side, same thing. Fold that in, and just leave these parts out a little bit. Go ahead and close this panel. And now these are going to peg in to the side of his back there. Go ahead and take these hands and rotate them inwards. And they're going to hide up in there. And that's kind of the top part all done. Right, moving on, we'll get the legs. The legs are the harder part of the entire transformation. So go ahead and release this knee. It is pegged in right down there. And then you can fold this panel up. That'll allow you to release this leg here. Fold this down inwards like that. Fold this foot down. Fold it back. Heel spur in. It should make a little square like that. And then the entire thing is going to accordion up into his leg there. So it is a little bit of a confusing sequence there, but that's how it goes. Make sure you have this panel all the way up. It should be folded flat. That's going to make part of his leg. And you can kind of see this is going to be the front, so make sure you have that rotated. And it's going to accordion down on his leg, and then there's a peg right there that's going to peg into the side. So there you go. And just get it pushed in on the bottom here. You should have the leg all the way down, and then you can peg this in. Right, same on this side. Go ahead and unpeg the knee. Open up this panel here. Oops. Go ahead and open up the leg here. Going to rotate this downwards. That'll allow us to fold this foot and the heel spur to make that. Then you're going to accordion this down into his leg. And you can see how this is going to go. It should be, should have this part on the front. That's the front of the thing. Make sure you have this panel all the way out. Accordion this down. It's going to peg into the bottom of the leg, like that. And then peg the top in. And give it a good squeeze. And the last bit here is go ahead and take this gun. And get this pegged into here. And then this one has a hole, so that's just going to fit on the end there and then peg in. It all tucks away nicely. And there is Scaramanga in his tape deck mode. It really is beautiful. Just the level of detail. It looks really nice. You got the buttons there. You got the record button there. Some R and L are stamped in there on the sides. You have paint all throughout. Everything is painted on this surface. You can see. Here's the back. Very clean. It looks really nice. There's not a lot of paneliness. A little bit on the feet here, but overall it looks very good. It looks really visually interesting. Obviously the tape deck still opens up. You can put the tape inside. Here is Laserbeak. We'll get him in there. And that does look nice. Again, if this were working, we could stick this light up piece in there. Unfortunately, we can't. But there it is. This button doesn't do anything. It just has a good look to it. But overall, very, very, very nice tape deck mode. You can, leave this open for that effect of him ejecting out if you like. Or you can just leave that closed and you can see the tape inside. Overall, really nicely done. So final thoughts on Scaramanga. This is a really nice Soundwave. I'm really impressed with Newage. I haven't handled a lot of Newage, but the level of articulation, the level of detail, the little tapes are really impressive. Although I guess the worst one for me is probably the Frenzy. I just think he's a little bit wonky, that the arms don't stay in that well. But overall, this set is really well done. It is a little bit pricey at $70 for this set. It does seem a little bit on the expensive side, but for what you're getting, the quality is basically masterpiece in a mini form. This is truly a mini masterpiece. Now, when people call Hasbro's products a mini masterpiece, and then I look at something like this, this is really, there's no waffliness. The paint is amazing. The articulation is, top shelf. The accessories are plentiful. Everything is really nice about this. This, to me, is what I would call a mini masterpiece. That's really it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.